Okay, so I'm back tonight because last night's and the night before's videos had such horrible sound. I hated that wind tunnel sound. So I decided to come back tonight and remake the same project from my live last night. Last night I did, let me turn off this light and see if that's any better for you. Not really. Where's my light on here? Yeah, I don't think that's any better either, is it? Let me go back over here. Oh, that's just way too bright. So yeah, we'll go with this one. So last night, this is what I crafted. It's a single cup carrier. In our catalog, we have double cup carriers. But I like this idea of the single cup carrier. And I think they're good for almost any occasion. So to show that, last night I did a birthday. I also showed, as an example, the Halloween packaging I had made, and I think it's so cute. I really like these. So tonight we're going to work on a Christmas packaging and see how that goes. I forgot one little thing, and that's the die for the handle. So as soon as I find, I'll just do the oval tonight. Well, sure I will. I like to keep my dies on these magnet sheets inside their containers because that way they don't fly all over the place. All right, so we're going to be working with mostly this set of dies, which is Celebration Tiding dies. And again, it's this nice nested set. And I have stamped on my pre-cut tag this pretty sleigh from this set, and I'm going to do a little work with that later. But first, I'm going to show you once again how to score the pieces for this. What you do is you take cardstock, 8.5 by 11 cardstock. You cut two 3-inch wide pieces, so they're 3 by 11. You score them at 2 inches. You'll have some left over. You then take another piece and cut it this way, as if it were 11 by 8.5. You cut it at 5, and then you take that strip and you cut those at 4. So you have two pieces that are 4 by 5, and you still have the other half of this sheet left. Now you have to score these. So what we're going to do is the short side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch and at 3.5 inches. Then we're going to turn it, and we score at 2, and I wonder if I should move that up some, I can't tell. We score at 4. And we do the same thing with the other piece. The short side, we score at 1/2 inch, assuming Susan can get it straight. And then we score it at 3.5. Then we rotate it 90 degrees and we score at 2. And we score again at 4. And you'll notice we have 1 inch left here. This is going to eventually become this piece that flips back. So we set these aside. The other thing I did was I took a 12 by 12 designer series paper, and I cut a strip at 1 7/8. I then cut a 2-inch piece at 1 7/8 and glued them together. This will become the band that wraps around. Okay, so we have scored. So now it's time to do some die cutting. And to do that die cutting, I'm going to get out our new die cutting machine. Okay, a little story about this die cutting machine and me. I said I wasn't going to get it. I said I didn't need it. I said I have my Vagabond. And then I kept hearing how great this was. And then I realized if I wanted to market this to you, that I should probably get it and I should probably use it. And I'm going to tell you, I am so glad I did. First of all, it's weighty. Oops, it's weighty, but it's not like, you know, as heavy as the Vagabond. It has the sticky things on the bottom, the little suction cups that keep it in place. It flips up closed, which is fabulous. The crank handle comes not on the machine, but they give you the screw, the tool, the gasket, etc. Everything you need to apply that, and it's super easy. Even I could do it. Now, everything else that you need to get started comes in with this. You don't have to buy anything else. You apply your handle and you can go. And as I have said repeatedly, my favorite aspect of this is the base plate. The base plate is the piece you use with everything. And what makes it fabulous are these recipes. Every time I go to use this, I don't have to think, oh no, what am I doing? What do I need? Do I need like a shim? Do I need whatever? See the numbers? The numbers are on the plates. I'm going to do some basic die cutting. So I'm going to use the base plate. I'm going to use the cutting plate. And then I'm going to use 2 number 3s, which will sandwich my paper and my die. If I were going to just use a regular embossing folder, I'd use the base plate and 2 number 3s, the clear plates. If you have one of our thick 3D embossing folders, I use the base plate, and you use number 4, the thick plate that comes with it. And again, they all have the numbers on them, so you know what you're doing. So for me, you know, that was an immediate selling thing there. I saw this and I was like, yes, yes. Okay, and again, you can see I have been cutting quite a bit and I love this. Okay, so what we have to cut with this right now are the handles. And I'm just going to slip this on here and say, yes, you look about even from this angle. I'm going to top it with my second number 3. And I'm going to crank it through. Only it's so little, I'm probably not going to go all the way through because I can tell I've just passed it by the feel. So I'm just going to back it out because that was just easier for me. All right, so now we have handles. All right, the other thing I need to die cut is a background label for my stamped label. I'm going to layer these. And again, I just needed to sandwich these between 2 number 3s. And you could tell I just cleared the die. Okay, I got to scooch back a little. I'm running into my pins. There we go. Yeah. And that just falls apart and apparently falls to the floor. All right, I think that was all I needed to die cut. I just wanted to show you this machine again when you could maybe hear me and understand how easy it is. Now, the next thing I'm going to tell you, or rather the last thing I'm going to tell you about this is I store this under my desk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's like not quite 7 inches wide. So I have it on a little like 8-inch ledge down under my desk, and it just fits perfectly. And I just stick it right back down here, and it's out of the way. Now, I am going to find that die I threw, because it's not cool to, you know, throw your dies on the floor and lose them. Okay, remember how I told you I keep my dies on these these magnetic plates? This one is actually in with the stamps, but I keep it on there so they're not flying around, and I have them together in the same case, which I like. Okay, so now that I have this and this, I'm going to set these aside, and we'll do those later. And we'll go back to assembling the basic box. Okay, so what we do here is we need to cut off, and I hope you can see these, we need to cut off these pieces, but leave these two, because those are the flaps that support or connect this to the rest of the box. And I'm cutting in just a little bit so it's not a 90-degree edge there, so that when those fold in, they've got room and it's not too tight. So I just go to my line and go to the inside a little bit more. All right, and we will do the same thing on both pieces, because these two pieces become the side. And you know what I just did? I put my die cut machine away and forgot to do the edges. Oops. Last night I had the edges all pre-done with a die. I had, pre-cut those pretty edges. So I guess I'll be lifting my die cut machine right back out. Good thing it's so light and easily stored right there, I say, sort of making fun of myself. All right. Now the part I'm going to cut with the die cut machine, I think I've already told you. We have a 2-inch piece, we have a 2-inch piece, and then we have this 1-inch piece. This will fold back on the outside of the box. These make the sides of the box like that. So I want to finish this edge right here, just a little bit different. So let me get rid of this, and let me move these out of the way again. And hello, Stampin' Cut and Emboss. And no, I really did not do this on purpose. This really was a mistake. I just forgot to do that while I had this out. So what I'm going to do is reach over here into a bunch of dies, and I'm going to use the Stitch So Sweetly dies. And yes, I really did know their names. I just wanted to show that to you. All right, let me pull this out because it's not coming out for me. And you see I used my fingernail for that. That's why my nails always look so horrible when I am crafting. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I know you can see this is covering these side parts that I don't want to cut. And to make this work just a little smoother, okay, this is great. I'm looking for my purple tape. I don't see my purple tape. What do you want to bet that it's lost with? Oh, it's not lost with my heavy-duty runner. My runner is still missing. I did look for it just a couple more minutes this evening, hoping I could find it, but no, I could not. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just use a little bit of this crafter's tape to hold it right there, and pull this back, line these up, and all I want to do is cut this edge. And when I get to the edge, it's going to be hard because that's a lot for a straight, when you go over a straight edge like that. Okay, you heard me go over it. So now I'm going to back up because I didn't want this to run all the way through, because I didn't want this part to cut. I just wanted this nice edge, and I got just that nice edge. So let me get the other piece, and we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to put that right across there. I'm going to push it down a little bit. We're going to put number 3 over top of number 3. And everybody listening? Yep, there it was. And now we're backing out. And there it is. That's how I cut the edges. That's how I use a square die and just use one edge. You don't cut the whole thing. So I'm going to put that die over there. I'm going to put this back under my desk. I'm going to fold this guy back up and put him under my desk. I think I'm having cord dangle down again. Sorry. I'm trying to get it out of the way. Oh well, it's just there. Okay. Now that we've done that, we can score. So now I've made a right side and a wrong side on these. That's the wrong side, so I'm going to turn it under. I'm going to burnish the score line very, very well. And if that's the outside, then this needs to turn under and become part of the bottom. These turn in because they fold inside. And if this is the outside, then this must be the inside. Okay, same thing with this one. We're going to say that that's definitely the back, so this is the outside. So this guy's going to fold up, become part of the bottom. And these are the sides, the little flaps. Okay, now while I'm burnishing, let's do this too, my 2-inch score marks. All right, so one of them went under, one's going to come up. Okay, so because my favorite runner is still missing, I am so sorry. Apparently I'm going to use glue again tonight. And these make the sides of the box. This doesn't go all the way across, and that's okay because they will overlap. So that went out to about there, so I'm going to add some glue there and add a couple of inches up of glue right there. And I'm going to just try to line up this corner right here. And then rub that. This glue I'm using is really nice. It comes out, oh, see, it moved. It comes out soft and easy, but it gets very tacky, so it should hold while I move on to the other side, which is a good thing. So again, I'm just going to go up a couple of inches, and I'm going to go, I think I just did this wrong. No, I didn't. I just thought I did. All right, I'm going to turn this so that I can see it. I'm going to line up those corners down there again. Line up the edges you probably can't see. Right there. You need to line those up nice and tight so they fit snugly. And this guy's trying to slip in on the bottom and out on the top, and we will have none of that. All right, I'm going to rub this a little and rub that side a little more and squeeze the middle. Okay, now I always say the last one's the easy one because it's just like, you know, you're putting the lid on the whole thing more or less, even though it's a side. So I'm going to put some glue there, some glue there, and like I said, just kind of put a lid on it. Make sure it's pulled up tight on those corners right there. And right over here on this side. And then since this side's kind of set up, I'm going to turn this around and rub in there just a little bit and get that side to set up as well. Don't laugh. I sometimes use binder clips to hold things in my scrap room that I want to continue to hold tightly while I move on to something else. So what I'm going to move on to is working on my tags. I stamped the sleigh onto, you know, my cut label, and then I stamped it onto the paper that matches the band. Sorry. So what I'm going to do is cut this out, and I'm cutting out just the inside of the sleigh so that this is going to be the print on the side of the white sleigh on the tag. I hope that made sense. Probably not. I have had my grandchildren here since early this morning. They spent the day with us, and the two that were here were 5 and 4, and my 4-year-old grandson knows 2 speeds, fully open or asleep. Well, he never went to sleep while he was here today. And he did not leave until, after 4, when his mom, who was a teacher, came to get him. In the meantime, being a glutton for punishment or a loving grandmother, depending on how you look at it, I called up my daughter-in-law, when she is also a teacher, when she got off work, and I told her that the other 2 were here because my son's son loves to see my daughter's children. He is still an only child, so, he enjoys those kids to play with, and he has no cousins on his mom's side of the family. All right, so I cut that out. I just put some of my wonderful glue right there. I'm going to cover this guy and slide that right into the opening. Now, if we want to add a little color to this, I could take red markers and fill in a little bit, but I'll think about that. In the meantime, I was trying to keep this kind of simple, and I like that. Now, I told you I was using this set of stamps, so I'm going to use the special delivery on here because, it's a gift. It's a Christmas gift, and it's with the sleigh, so I thought it would all kind of work together. I am using Cherry Cobbler red ink, which is my favorite, actually, I'm just going to admit. Now, I want this kind of to not be super straight. I want it to be a bit at an angle. There we go. Oops, I got white on it. You know what? I will take care of that later. I'm sorry, I got red on the white's what I'm trying to say. And again, I can hide that later. I'm going to let it dry right now before I mess it up. Okay. Because I would rather not mess it up. Right. Let me center this, which is pretty easy to do because I have the little indents right there. Except I'm not sure I have it centered up and down, but okay. Let me turn this. Good enough. All right, let's go back to this guy. And I'm going to pick a front or a back. And you know what? They look the same. The embossing's really good both places. Where I did the additional piece here, I'm going to call that the starter end. And we're going to put that across here. I really hope you can hear me better tonight. I really hope that my microphone is working. I posted on my regular Facebook page what I did, and it is so wrong what I did to myself yesterday. I started the night before when I did the first really bad volume video and thought, okay, I use my little mic when I'm using my computer, but when I'm using my iPhone, and I need to use the iPhone to do this because it's not like I can suspend my computer to look down on my desk like my phone can. So I thought I either need to get a mic for my iPhone or I need to get an adapter because they had different ends on them. I won't go into the technical part of it, but that's what it amounted to, was the mic would not plug into the phone. So I looked for an iPhone microphone jack adapter, and nobody had one. They all had earphone adapters. So then I started looking for an iPhone external lapel mic, and again had no luck. So after going to 3 different stores locally, and I probably shouldn't say who, but the one that's supposed to be like an office supply store truly disappointed me. But we ended up at Target, and all they had were headphone jack adapters. So I asked the nice little sales boy if this would work. And he said, I really don't know. He goes, I have no idea if this is going to work or not. You can try it and return it. So we took it home. My son Ian was with me. So we bought it. We took it home. I tried it. I plugged it in. I plugged my mic into the adapter. I plugged the adapter into my phone. I spoke into it. I hit playback and I had no volume. And I did this on Facebook for like a few seconds and had no volume, so I deleted that. I did it on just a video on my phone and I had no volume, so I deleted it. And I did this over and over, trying to make adjustments, trying to open up different parts of the app, etc. So then it was time for my live and I was fed up and I just went ahead and did it with the horrible sound. And afterwards, I was really thinking about it and I thought, oh man, that was a headphone jack, which means it probably wouldn't play back. So I went and started another video and I pulled the jack out for the replay and boom, there I was, and it worked perfectly. So I felt kind of dumb and kind of amused, but yeah, that was my evening of trying to make it work. Okay, I'm going to see if my color lifter from Stamping Blends will help. It may not, but it might. It might not, because this is really good at lifting out the alcohol color, and this isn't an alcohol color. Okay, if it doesn't work, I'm not going to redo this. I'm just going to put some gems or something over it later, or part of the bow. Okay, so what we do here is I'm going to run some ribbon up through here just to get it into place. And this is our really pretty, I need to find it, double stitched satin ribbon that, you know, we have in the catalog right now. All right, looking for, still have these very well loved stamping dimensionals here. I'm gonna put this up here so I don't put these out too far. Here we go, and here we go, and oops, here we go, and here we go, and I'll stick one more over here simply because that one got the corner. Okay, I'm gonna peel the little pieces off and throw them on my desk there. Sorry, I keep forgetting to speak up. All right. Okay, now I'm gonna try and put this on here, sort of centered. Yeah, you know that line's gonna really bug me. And if you don't know that, you don't know me well at all. But I will fix it later. I could just do that whole layer over again and put it right over top, and only you and I and anyone else who watches this video will know I did that. Okay, so I'm going to pull both of these right through here and tie this in a bow. And as I said last night, I'll try not to be too neurotic if my bow isn't as pretty as I want it to be, but I can't promise you anything. I may get neurotic and play with it for a couple of minutes. Not too long though, because I have a meeting at 8 o'clock. So yeah. All right, I think that's going to be crooked is what that's going to be. I was going to say I think that's going to be okay, but no, it had to be crooked. Okay, you know what? I really do think that's going to be okay. I think I will live with it. And I'm going to leave these long things here, and I'm going to work on this a little bit more. And you have to let this dry in between each time you try to use it. Otherwise, you're just messing up the paper. So I'm going to kind of just press and press and press and see if this will lift any of this out. And again, if it doesn't, I'll just, you know, make this piece again. All right, so we're not finished here just yet. We have one more thing to do. And I forgot to get the cup. It's across the room. So I'm going to unhook myself from my mic and turn around and grab a cup, and I'll be right back. Okay, I got that cup. Alrighty. Hey Bernice, I just looked to see if anybody's on here and I saw your comment. Yeah, those little dimensional corners are the bomb. I use the whole sheet. Oop, not that one. The whole sheet. Because you've paid for it, so why waste it? Alrighty. Now, I told you last night, when you couldn't hear me, that I have a template for this. I'm going to tell you what that template is. I took one of the cups, I cut it open. I cut off the rim, I cut off the bottom, and I flattened it out. I wrote template on it, and I trace it onto the paper, but I always add 1/4 of an inch on each edge right here, so it has room to overlap. And that's my big template. I do have dies to cut covers for this. I just honestly haven't used them yet. And I know that sounds horrible, but you know, there you go. And again, if I could find my runner, this would be so much easier, or at least so much more ideal. I'm so annoyed with myself. And the thing is, I should tell you, I have a refill for it. And you can't use the refill without the case that, you know, that it slides into. So I can't use my refill. I may end up having to order another one of them just so that I can use them. And we have two kinds of adhesive runners now. We have a regular, and then we have one that just holds really tight, and it's great for 3-dimensional things or items that just need a little more strong adhesive. Okay, and just like last night, the cup can slide right in there. Okay, and other than my oops here, which anybody who knows me knows I'm not going to leave that like that. I just can't deal with it. It's bugging me just even talking to you. That's how that looks. So, again, tonight I will actually post the measurements to make this because you couldn't understand what I was saying last night, so I was sure you wouldn't be able to, know what I was talking about when I posted 2 11x3 strips, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for popping by again tonight. I apologize that I had to do this twice because I was a bonehead and could not figure out that, I had to unplug the mic to hear the playback. On the other hand, I'm so glad that I figured it out. And please do let me know if you think that this sounds better tonight. This is our chamois, by the way, and mine is well loved, and I just rinse it out occasionally, and it just keeps on going, and it cleans our stamps nicely. You just keep it a little damp, and I store it in a stamp case. Thanks so much, and thanks for dropping by. I'll see you soon. Bye.